Okie dokie. Woo! Welcome back, everybody, to Friday Evening Trains. It's Friday, it's evening, and we got trains. Uh-huh. We've made it through another week. And, not a whole lot to say. So, guess we're just gonna jump right on into it. Excuse me, with the, Virtual Rail Creations York to Peterborough Modern, route. And picking up where we left off last week with the whole way down part 2, or dose, as it says thereabouts. Um, so yeah, after your brief stop at Peterborough, your journey continues to York with stops at Grantham, Newark, Retford, and Doncaster along the way. So, away we go. Not too much on the news front this week. The uh, new version of North Wales Coastline with Avanti West Coast and Transport for Rail branding released yesterday. Double check. Right, let's pick up passengers here. Departure time is 7:08. Our AWS self-test done. Oh! They snuck one in on me. Ah! That's not... Well, anyway. Stevens Pass came back to the store just recently, and Tehachapi Pass is now available with BNSF branding worldwide as of today. So, I'm guessing that might have been done as part of the ongoing Festival of Rail. So, definitely recommend picking those up. Stevens Pass is one of my absolute favorites. We got something going on here. What's that container train from the last part? But yeah, Stevens Pass is one of my favorite routes. It's very, very good. So, yeah. Not, not too much to say. I think there was also a scenario pack for Frankfurt Koblenz that was announced today. Or this week. But, um, I don't know enough really to speak on that. Yeah, that's a long train. Mm. We're driving an East Coast liveried Class 91 set. I think only substitutions. Oh, there's a Southwest Trains Class 158 at Newark, subbing in for an East Midland Trains unit. And then I have Class 158s in Trans Pennine livery in place of 185s and 802 stroke 5s. Let's see, I had a bit of deja vu there. You don't think we'd done that already, do you? Anyway, next up is Grantham. Arrival time is 7:25 and a half. So speed limit is going to be 25 entering back onto the main. So over to our right is Peterborough West Yard, a pretty significant facility. Sees quite a bit of stone traffic and things of that sort. Shut off the power here. I am going to bump up the speed set to the 115-mile-an-hour limit. Inbound cross-country service bound for, I think, Cambridge. Speed limit has gone up to 105. And now 115. It's not Sleaford. Oh, Spalding. That's right. That is driving me nuts. So there over on the right are the sidings proper for the West Yard. So we are due into York. Oops, every time. At 8:31. Speed limit is now going up to 125. Oops. There we go. Got the speed set adjusted there. So I forget what the name of this junction is, but the line diverting to the right is the line towards Lincoln via Spalding. And that junction was actually just recently reconfigured in real life. They added a duck under. Excuse me. So that trains from the line we're on, or the adjacent line, no longer have to cross several lines of fast traffic to get onto that line. They can now just get off the down fast and duck under the up fast and up and down slow, and get right onto the line towards Spalding and Lincoln. There's that container train from earlier. So heading away from us now is the I forget what the official name for the line is, but it is the main route used for trains towards Birmingham. But I believe if you stay on it, you'll eventually end up in, I believe it's Milton, Mowbray, and Corby. Uh, those of you familiar with the channel Don Coffee on YouTube, he just recently uploaded a video of a cab ride of a stone train running from Peterborough to Landor Street Junction in Birmingham. So if you want some more detail on where that route takes you, I would highly recommend checking out that video. Don Coffee does great work. I've watched quite a few of his cab ride videos, and they're super informative. Really, really well shot and edited, and yeah, he does a great job. So definitely recommend checking out that video. Otherwise, we are continuing on the East Coast Main Line here through Tallington. With a tarmac plant that we just passed on the right. And we're going to be running 4-track all the way up to, I believe, Stoke Junction. Right before we pass through Stoke Tunnel. Also really like this route. This route is very nice. So somewhere in this area, and I will have to confess I don't know exactly where, but we might actually be on it now, is the famous Stoke Bank. It's, I think, a 0.5% grade up here in this general area, and it is where the Mallard made its famous record-setting speed run in the downhill direction. So, a little bit of history that gets rolled over hundreds of times every day. 15 miles to go to Grantham now. You know, with 4 tracks, I'd expect this to be a little bit busier, but I guess since it's so early in the morning. I think we're really even going to start picking up southbound intercity trains until out of Edinburgh until the next part, I think. So anything we pass at the moment will be coming out of the Leeds area or possibly Newcastle. I think now we're on the Stoke Bank. But I can't tell you for sure. But I'm sure people will calmly and thoughtfully correct me, should they be given the chance, and will certainly not wish to start arguments over the validity of the Mallard speed record. So. Should be getting close to the end of 4-track running here. We got 8.5 miles to go to Grantham. There's a yellow signal on the down slow, which means the next signal should see the end of 4-track running. And that'll pretty much be our last bit of 4-track running until York in the next part. Which will then really be our last bit of 4-track running. So now passing, I believe, Stoke Junction. And for those of you who are SimCig fans in the audience, we are now at the north end of the control limits of Peterborough Signal Box, and I kind of was ignoring the fact that the speed limit is dropping to 115. Yeah, we didn't quite make it. I don't believe this is Stoke Tunnel. I believe the next one we pass through will be... I'm pretty sure Stoke Tunnel is a bit longer than that. It might be on the other side of Grantham. goods loop in the up direction here. Less than 2 miles to go to Grantham now. The speed limit will be dropping to 100 right before we enter the station, but hopefully we're down well below that by the time we get there. What's up, Jessica? Need more brakes now. Oh, yeah? We're going to overshoot this one just a tad. What era of Conrail was it? 90s, 80s, early days? Ooh, nice, nice. Oh, come on. Ooh, nice. Well, what the heck? Any power from ST60S to ST70 max. Very good, very good. Open the doors! Well, oh well. I think we're due to depart at 27 and a half, so. We'll just have to take the L on that one. Not sure what's up with that. Actually, much more hopeful that Dovetail or one of the other companies can successfully get a Conrail license for Conrail route. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, all right, we've made our stop at Grantham. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But yeah, definitely sorely missing some Conrail uh, over here. Got the speed set down to 100. 100. Even though it is shortly going back up to 115. Oof. Honestly, that'd just be a fun route in general because that train used to operate at like 100 between Chicago and Milwaukee. So, splitting off to the left there is the line towards Nottingham. And 115. But yeah, definitely having also getting to have I forget what their northerns were called, but um, or they were called northerns, but what the specific class of northerns that 261 was a part of. Ah, S3. There you go. Yeah, it's hard to keep track of what everybody called their various steam locomotives because everybody had a different numbering system. Now we're entering Stoke Tunnel, which I believe is the longest tunnel on the East Coast Main Line. Or is it the Potter's Bar Tunnel is longer? Can't remember. But yeah, like I know Burlington Northern's, or not Burlington Northern's, Burlington Roots Northern's were, I believe, the O class. Go nuts at CP Metro and track could make room for such a trip, especially T61. I think part of the problem is now with PTC requirements. That's a pretty high barrier of entry for a lot of um, preservation groups. I know Big Boy now, or the 4014 has a big old PTC uh, um, display in the cab now, and I'm sure if A44 doesn't already have one, one's going in. But if you think about ones like 4449, 3751, which should be back in excursion service this year. It just completed its 15-year inspection. So fingers crossed for a visit between it and the 2926 in Albuquerque, which should also hopefully be on the excursion docket this year. Or at the very least be finished up this year, if it isn't already. I think they're still ticking off the last few items on that list. Um, yes, but again, PTC is a problem with anything. Union Pacific's fleet gets away with it because it's owned by Union Pacific. And Union Pacific has, the money to toss at that. And a willingness to, integrate it into the network. I'm not totally sure what the barrier of entry is for getting PTC installed and interop and making it mesh with the Class 1's systems. And yeah, installing PTC on Steam isn't cheap, so um, hopefully hopefully they're that's a problem that they're able to overcome. You would certainly hope to see. I think for now, 261 does excursions on the Twin Cities and Western short line up by Minneapolis, which is where I believe Sioux Line 1002 or 1003. It's 1003. Also does its excursions. But at the very least, it does sound like um, 765 will be on the move again this year. The Nickel Plate Berkshire 284. It should do its annual, at the very least, it should do its annual fall residency at the Cuyahoga Scenic in Ohio. I believe 611 is still on loan to the Strasburg Railroad. So there should be still some opportunity to, or plenty of opportunity to see Steam in action this year. At least here in the States. I don't really have a thumb on what's going on across the pond, so. Um, but I'm sure there will be some sort of rail tour this year behind something or other. And if nothing else, Western Maryland Scenic 1309 should be uh, on deck for this year's operating season. I believe their other locomotive had to. We're about to Nebworth this so hard. Yep, that was bad. So that was Newark Northgate. We just blasted through. Yes, for sure. The last locomotive Baldwin built for domestic use, and I believe also now um, the country's only operable mallet as well. I believe Big Boy is a simple articulated. So we were supposed to depart at 7:41. So we're just gonna sit here and chill a bit. And actually, I've changed my mind. We're just gonna go. We're just gonna go on to Retford, and hopefully we can actually stop there. The difference being, and I believe a simple articulated is what's up, Flying Scotsman. I believe a simple articulated, uh, basically the boiler feeds two sets of cylinders at once. So if you imagine Big Boy, a 4884, the boiler feeds the two sets of cylinders, one of which drives the front four wheels or axles, and the second of which drives the uh, second. The chord to the right is joining the line from Nottingham to Lincoln that we are crossing at grade here. And we are also about to cross the River Trent. Whereas a mallet, um, instead of that, what it does is so all the steam feeds into the first set of boilers or cylinders, excuse me, from the boiler, and then it is recycled into the second set of cylinders before being um, cycled out and ejected through the smokestack. And because the steam after being put through the first cylinders is at a lower pressure, it takes more steam to operate the second set of cylinders. So one of the kind of defining features of a mallet is the second set of cylinders on the rear set of drivers is much larger than the front set. Um, unless I've got that backwards, in which case that's the identifying feature of a simple articulated. But I'm pretty sure simple is the boiler feeds both sets of, you know what, I can look it up. Oh, no, I did have that right. Okay. Yes, I saw that, Flying Scotsman. And seeing as I know you are worldwide, I am very happy for you. I hope you get a chance. Also, the official branding for Tehachapi Pass is also now available. Got some HST hype there. So yeah, I did have that right. A mallet recycles steam, whereas a simple does not. Very nice, Flying Scotsman. I hope you enjoy. I was saying earlier that Stevens Pass is one of my favorite routes. It's very scenic, and I do have a video um, of a scenario I ran on it somewhere on the YouTube channel. I ran it a couple months back. Um, um, but yeah, so an excellent route that I'm really glad a lot more people are going to get to experience now. So. Well, my most recent one is take the S train. That should be pretty good. I was pretty happy with that one. Oh god, I've got a ton from Marias. Marias is one of my other favorite routes. Passing through another set of goods loops. Honestly, your best bet is probably just to go back through my my workshop page and see what I got. I don't think I've actually posted one from Marias in a while. Yeah, there's take the S train. Oh, the original version of Montana Bluebonnets for Marias Pass. That's a good one. Ooh, down to Texas. Some of those you might need to wait for the BNSF ES44DC DLC to be re-released before you can run it. There's also Oil Extra, which I've run. Um, yeah, no, you're just definitely going to have to go back through the back catalog. I have quite a few scenarios for both routes. But quite a few of them you're probably going to have to wait for more DLC to be re-released worldwide before you can actually play them. I know specifically Excellent. I know specifically Oil Extra requires the Empire Builder, the Great Northern Empire Builder, in the Great Northern Wagon packs. So, which I don't believe have been re-released yet. More HST hype. Well, I should definitely take my time on the approach to Retford since we're so horrendously early because I badly nebworked that. Just awful. Some truly wonderful super elevation here. Has to be said. So we're gonna go freaking tipping off the tracks here. Speed limit is dropping down to 115. Flashing yellow, the speed limit is going up back up to 120. But seeing as we have a flashing yellow, that means we'll be turning off the main in 2 signals. You can see we have a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit coming up when we turn off the main to get into Retford. Be nice if I could get down to one speed limit at a time. Come on, I'm gonna get at least one stop right. Hey! Right in front of us is the junction with the line to, I believe it's Sheffield via Alnwick. But I can't remember off the top of my head, so I'm gonna look here real quick. Yeah, it does end up in Sheffield. It actually passes through Worksop beforehand. That's some kind of. Oh yeah, that's a power station. Oh, that must be Cottam. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, that answers that question. Oh, that's where West Burton is. Oh, that's right, Gainsborough. That's where you end up. I believe you can then, from there, end up in Lincoln, Scunthorpe, or Grimsby, or Cleethorpes. So, but turning off of here, you can only go towards, I believe, Worksop and Sheffield. Yeah, it's a really cool junction, though. These are the lower level platforms here at Retford. You go up the stairs. Oh, there's like an elevator. Oh yeah, you can follow this along. What's up, Pork Belly? And that explains why it wouldn't work at Grantham. That apparently is the only coach whose doors will open today. Oh, that's right. Forgot to put it in neutral. Um, no specific reason. It just helps keep the or it turns off the traction motor blowers, which, as you might have noticed, are kind of obnoxious and loud. So, since you don't need to have them blowing when you're standing at a station, it's just kind of a nice thing to do. Turn them off. Should be ready to roll here in a minute. I was just say the platform announcements are a nice touch on this route. Right away, driver. Next up is Doncaster. Arrival time is 8:09 and a half. That was our first successful station stop since leaving Peterborough. Cruising along the slow lane at 40 here. But we'll be jumping back onto the main shortly. And then we'll be cleared up to 125. You know what? Come to think about it, turn the speed stat all the way off. Let's coast back onto the main line here. We're now cleared back up to 125. 100 miles an hour now, with about 14 left to go to Doncaster. Another set of good sloops. England needs more 14Ls. Speed limit is dropping down to 110, just ahead. Oop. There we go. Regional speed, yeah! Yeah, this is as fast as regional Amtrak trains go, so... on very specific parts of the network, and almost exclusively on the Northeast Corridor, except for one very short stretch in Illinois, and one length section in Michigan. Yeah, I was trying to decide what vocalization to use to describe how the length of the section in Michigan, because it is a decent length. But it would be nice, if we had more. America needs high speed rail. Norfolk Southern. Yeah, it was Norfolk Southern, Jessica. That because the Michigan line is previously Lakeshore, Michigan, Lakeshore and Michigan Southern, which was under the umbrella of the New York Central. And then Norfolk Southern got that after the Conrail split. Because CSX has the former Pear Marquette, Chesapeake and Ohio route via Grand Rapids. Well, I should say via Grand Rapids and Lansing to Detroit. Yes, I believe. I don't know exactly where um, Norfolk Southern / state of Michigan. Um, actually, it might be. Might be the Michigan Department of Transportation then. Now, I'm pretty sure Amtrak owns the stretch between Porter Junction and Kalamazoo. But I believe the portion between Kalamazoo and the uh, Detroit area might still be owned by the Michigan Department of Transportation. I haven't seen a map of that area in a while. The whole thing might now also be owned by Amtrak, but the former New York Central operates between Porter Junction, which is where the CSX Grand Rapids sub splits off. I don't know what lines we're passing over here. I believe they go towards Grimsby and Cleethorpes, as well as Lincoln. But the New York Central operates from Porter Junction to Kalamazoo, through Battle Creek, and the city of Jackson and Ann Arbor before reaching Detroit. So PM had to get track address over the PM. Flashing double yellow. Ah, interesting. I did not know that. I do know that Norfolk Southern has a very short stretch of trackage rights over the Canadian National in Battle Creek that allows it to kind of bridge the two gaps of the Michigan line and allows Amtrak trains to actually serve the train station in Battle Creek. We're passing a large collection of yards here in Doncaster. Diverging off to the left there, I believe, is the line to Sheffield via Mexthorpe. What's up, Code Monkey? Thank you for embarking with us. Over on the left is the very famous Doncaster Locomotive Works. Not so long ago, the PR purchased a Sola de Glen French 442. Ooh. I learned that just now from you saying that. So, yeah, early American railroad history is, as you might expect, pretty full of examples of European locomotives being brought over here to the States before our railroad minds of the day started developing locomotives themselves. I believe the UK was actually or Great Britain was actually a popular choice. I believe the B&O brought over several English locomotive types. But yeah, most of them were found to not be powerful enough because, you know, everything is bigger over here. Yes, that is true, Code Monkey. Track gauge is just bigger in Russia. And India. I believe those are the only countries using track bigger than standard gauge. There's quite a few ones that use various narrow gauge gauges. But yeah, Russia and India are the only ones to use. Ireland too. Ireland uses I think 5 foot. Yes, India uses. I don't remember what their track gauge is. I don't remember if it's standard broad gauge or if it's a different measurement. Indian Railway track gauge. Oh, 5'6" is broad gauge. Then what's Russian? I think Russian is just Russian is 5. So yeah, actually, yes, although that's more recent, Jessica. But yeah, India uses 5'6" broad gauge, and then Russian gauge is straight 5 foot uh even, and actually Finnish gauge is 4'11". Oh, and I did put my driver reminders appliance on right there when we stopped, since we have a red signal. Interesting. Interesting. 4 foot even. Uh, because apparently Russia is very scared about being invaded by rail. So even if everyone did convert to 5 foot gauge, they'd probably just convert to something else. Right away, driver. Next stop is York. Arrival time is 8:31 and a half. Take off the DRA. For those of you who are not familiar, I think most of you should be. But for anybody watching this later, the driver reminders appliance is a very simple. It's this button right here, and if it's pushed in and engaged, oh, electric double stack. Yes, that is something we should adopt. Um, I mean, adopting electrification in general would be nice, but yes, the Indians have proved that it can be done. But anyway, the DRA is that button right there. And basically, if you are stopped at a red signal or a single yellow, um, you are required by the rulebook to engage it. Sure, military mines could invent a train with deployable wide wheels and a heater since it's cold out there. Yes, but do we really want the military sinking more into unnecessary projects? Yeah, I'm interested to see how the Waptec battery electrics do. I think BNSF was testing them up in Minnesota the last couple of months to see how they fared in the cold. It helps that it's not publicly owned. It's amazing what that does for innovation. Heading off to the right is the line towards Hull. One of the lines towards Hull. While diverging to the left is the line towards Leeds. But yeah, the driver, it's basically a reminder that you're stopped at either a red or a single yellow, and that you should be prepared for the next signal to be a red. Basically, it's just a way to prevent spads. If you're stopped at a station, and you just forget that you're sitting at a red, or that you're sitting at a yellow, and you get distracted during the process of the station stop, you take off without reading the signal again, and you end up spatting at the next signal because you weren't paying attention, or worse. You can find BR training videos or rail track training videos on that go more into depth on that. I highly recommend looking them up. Some of them are hilarious and very out of date. Not out of date necessarily in an operational sense, but just out of date in that they are so obnoxiously 90s, it's beautiful. Yes, that is a good point, Jessica. BNSF has been part of Berkshire Hathaway since 2010, 2011. I don't think I've watched the one on the 442 Code Monkey, but yeah, they're so good. Yes. Berkshire Hathaway, of course, owned by Warren Buffett, the multi-billionaire. He invested in part of BNSF in, I think, the mid to late aughts, 2005, 2008, somewhere around there. And then in 2010, decided he liked what he saw and bought the rest. So, yes, BNSF is the only railroad not publicly traded on the American Stock Exchange. The rest, or the only Class 1, I should say, not traded on the American Stock Exchange. However, the rest, CSX, Norfolk Southern, Union Pacific, Canadian National, Canadian Pacific, and for now, Kansas City Southern, are all available to be to have stock purchased. The line towards somewhere or other is diverging off to the left. I believe it also ends up in Leeds. And we are also being joined by the line from Scunthorpe. Yes. Basically, they don't have to follow a lot of the industry trends. Because basically, as long as Warren Buffett gets his check every year for like $4 billion, he's very happy. Or whatever it is. I think it's about 50% of BNSF's revenue. It might not be that much. But Berkshire Hathaway gets part of BNSF's revenue every year. But in exchange for that, Warren Buffett pretty much lets it do what it wants. Which is why BNSF is the only railroad not to have fully adopted PSR. Carl Ice famously said around the time he retired that it was the stupidest thing he'd ever seen, or something to that effect. He was very anti-precision scheduled railroading. And they also currently employ the first female CEO of an American railroad in Catherine Farmer, who seems to be doing a very good job at the moment. BNSF is running pretty much like a well-oiled machine in the areas that are under its control. Obviously, it's being affected as all the other railroads are by the current truck driver shortage, which is causing some problems at some of its major intermodal terminals. But that's kind of outside of BNSF's control. Yeah, that's the other thing they don't. Also, turn operating revenue back into stock buybacks because they don't have any stock to buy back. Everything is either given back to Berkshire Hathaway or plowed back into the railroad's physical plant. Yeah, they do still have a few SC-70 Max running around. They're not as common. I think a lot of them are stored right now. But they certainly are ready to go in the event that they are needed. Yeah, and since coal traffic is on the decline, I think a lot of them are being stored, which is also part of the reason you see a lot of SC-70 Aces on um, non um, bulk traffic lately. Or in the past few years, they've been turning up a lot more on manifests and intermodals than they had in the past. Heck Plasmore is on the right there, and I believe this is the site of 2001's Great Heck Crash, wherein a driver on, I believe, the M4 motorway fell asleep at the wheel, and his car drove off of the road and ended up on the tracks, where it was struck by a Class 91 set, causing a derailment and smashing it into an oncoming, I think it was a loaded coal train. Uh, killing the drivers of both trains and obviously causing quite a mess. And you can find more information on that. It's quite a story. It eventually came out over the course of the investigation that the man who crashed the car had been up most of the night previously talking to a woman over the internet. I just passed Templehurst Junction, one of the cords to the line to between Leeds and Hull via Selby. It's just diverged off to the right. Yeah, that too. Yes, it was Code Monkey. I think BNSF in the last couple of years was one of the only railroads, along with Canadian National, to be aggressively pursuing new business. Uh, one of the one of the one of the things I've seen about precision scheduled railroading is that it tries to claim that through its increased efficiencies, it can take on more traffic. But one of the analysts I don't remember if it was Anthony Hatch, might have been Anthony Hatch, basically said that it's much more about just calling the railroad to haul the traffic you had instead of making it more efficient so you can take on more with the same amount of equipment. I mean, possibly, Jessica. I don't know. I don't know enough about how Genesee and Wyoming and Deutsche Bahn are running the freight railroads in the UK to um, have an informed opinion about that. Um, that would be something. BNSF running freight in Japan. That's fair, Code Monkey. We're now passing Hambleton South Junction, with the line towards the Gascoigne Wood sidings, Milford Junction, and Leeds. Diverging off to the right, left, to the left. Coming in from the right here at Hambleton North Junction is the other chord from Selby and the line to Hull. An alternate timeline of railway history, knowledge of which had to be brought BNSF. BNSF expanded into Japan and Australia, and each one operated as BNSF Japan and BNSF Australia, respectively. Yeah, that would be interesting. I don't know, because I think outside of the private iron ore railways, I think most of the railroads in Australia are operated by either Watco or Genesee and Wyoming. I don't think. I'm pretty sure all of Australia's railroads are privatized, or at least certainly the freight is. Japan is still nationalized under the freight arm of JR, Japanese Railways. Um, I don't remember what the specific name of the freight arm is. I think for quite a while now, the Japanese rail system kind of works in a similar system to the sectorization system in Japan, whereas it's still a national railway, but it's been broken up into high-speed intercity / regional commuter and freight. Although commuter and regional might be just lumped under one sector, so, or division, so to speak. They must have reported to their country bosses. Except for quarterly meetings. Those required meeting with the head of Chesapeake. Since it's not in the UK, it works for them. Well, you know, the Japanese are all about that precision. So, I mean, they're not going to do something if they're not going to do it well. Plus, they don't have Margaret Thatcher. Well, actually, no. Thatcher was anti-privatization of British Rail. Specifically of British Rail. Gas, telecom, airways, all of that got privatized under Thatcher. But Thatcher was adamantly against British Rail being privatized. I mean, you're not wrong, Code Monkey. Precision scheduled railroading is just railroading in Japan. I mean, yeah. That's a good one. That's true. Their physical plant is excellently maintained. This is Colton North Junction. We are joining the line from Leeds. And the switches we just passed over are rated for 125 miles an hour, which is pretty crazy. I mean, yes, Jessica, it could, but I don't remember if Philadelphia has a separate subway, so that might be SEPTA, which is the Southeast Pennsylvania Transit Authority. Well, yeah, because even if you're like 30 seconds off arrived, you get like admonished and fired in Tokyo on the Tokyo Metro. So no, I think SEPTA does a pretty good job, where it's not at the mercy of Amtrak on the Northeast Corridor. Whoop. Jesus, that was close. Got a double yellow there, and the signal spacing on this stretch is pretty tight. So, I don't know that there's really any SEPTA coverage, Jessica, except for the first Northeast Corridor route. Oh, shit. Forgot step 6 is the highest outside of emergency. It's just not my day. On the left is York Holgate sidings. But I mean, the Azumas are basically Acellas, except they're multiple units. Their Azumas are Acellas, except the Azumas are multiple units. Because America doesn't do like EMUs. Um, Except for actually Caltrain, when the electrification of the Peninsula Corridor route is completed, will actually be using Stadler KISS units. They're actually being tested currently um, at the test track in Pueblo, Colorado, which is exciting because that's going to be like the first like legit EMU, I think on, or at least modern EMU on American rails. I guess the Metroliner was kind of an EMU. I don't know. Gotta pop my DRA back on. I don't remember. Because there's a difference between an articulated train set and an EMU. And I don't remember if the Metroliners were articulated or not. Oh, that's right. You're right, Code Monkey. I like to do that anyway because then I don't have to listen to the traction motor blowers. Or the traction motor fans. I also like to do that on the 86 and 87 when I run those. Because those are also obnoxious. Whew. Mm. Mm. Back to childhood in Glasgow Central. Yeah. Yeah, I bet. Not the best run, was it? Hopefully we'll get better on the run to Newcastle. No, no, it was not the best run. One door opening glitch, one Nebworth, four emergency brakes. What? I used emergency brakes more times than I sped. Well, that by by definition was the whole way down part two. That's fair, Code Monkey. You're right. If I didn't use the brakes, I would speed more. So you are correct. So yeah, that was technically the whole way down part two. Um, all right. Part three will be on deck for next week, and yeah. That was before you got on. When we stopped at Grantham, I overshot the platform quite a bit, and for some reason on this route, not all the doors on the coaches opened. And when I successfully stopped at Retford, because I then Nebworth Newark, um, when I successfully stopped at Retford, I checked and there was only like I think it was the coach right ahead of the buffet coach. That was the only coach that doors are opened on. And I had not stopped with that coach in the platform, and when I reversed, I did not stop with that coach in the platform. So I just kind of gave up. So we did technically stop at Grantham, we just didn't open the doors. You know, fun stuff like that. So we're gonna pop back across the pond now, and we'll be right back. All in all, great success. Yes, I would say so. Oh, Lehigh in. Who's not Pennsylvania? That was last week. Illinois. I grew up there. You'd think I could spell it. All right. Oh, whoops. That's a thoroughbred gal. Don't want that one. We want that one. Anyway, I think most of my. I think I only have one scenario with native power leading on the racetrack, and that's being on the racetrack. Because this scenario and a thoroughbred gal both have Norfolk Southern power. Um, and the only other scenarios I've done have been Amtrak scenarios, and that one Metro scenario. Oh, and racetrack gensets. That was with the CSX gensets. So I don't think I've ever actually made a scenario where you just use BNSF power for this route. Anyway, this is Lehigh Oil in Illinois. Last week we ran Lehigh Oil in Pennsylvania, the kind of prequel to this scenario, which, as I explained last week, was made in my hype for the racetrack route to come out. And Lehigh Oil in Pennsylvania was kind of my way of whetting my appetite for when this route came out. It would be too straightforward, Code Monkey. You're getting it. I don't know why they don't do that like in the UK. Like, why can't you have a DB class 66 leading a Freightliner train or a GBRF train or a Colas train? Like, come on, come on. I want to see a DRS class 68 lead the Chirk log train. Come on, we need to make that happen. Um, so the train has arrived in Chicago. You are part of a BNSF crew that has just climbed aboard near BNSF's Western Avenue Yard. You'll take the train west toward La Crosse, Wisconsin. You'll be running track 2 for most of the journey. Now, I will say my radio communication pop-ups are going to have a slight error. BNSF 8104 West to Chicago Subdivision Dispatch. We are aboard and waiting your permission to depart. They should all be Norfolk Southern 8104 West. BNSF 8104 West, you are cleared to proceed subject to signal indications. Be aware that a westbound Carl Sandburg will be switching to Main 1 at Cicero, which is where you'll be switching to Main 2. Other than that, your journey should be fine. If you know RM Web, I went through like 100 pages of the thread prototype for everything. Nearly anything. No, I'm not familiar with that website, but it definitely sounds like something I will have to check out. These apparently have no bell. So, we are coming off the Western Avenue corridor. After we have traversed the Chicago line. So, if I remember correctly, this is the connector. So these two tracks are owned by Norfolk Southern. These two tracks are owned by CSX. But you can't see my cursor. Ah, okay. Can you not see my cursor? I thought I turned that back on. So the train we're on is the connector track. So the two tracks next to that are owned by Norfolk Southern, and then the two tracks on the left are owned by CSX. And they're one of the many belt railways that travel through Chicago. In fact, there's one heading towards other interchange. Some of the oil trains operate via downtown Chicago and the Canal Street Y. Others use the Western Avenue corridor. And it's just, like I said, one of several belt railways that kind of interconnect all the railroads in the Chicago area. If you ever look at a railroad map of Chicago, it's a frickin' mess. But there are also quite a few historic locations. Some of them are more accessible than others. Some of them are less dangerous than others to get to or to be in. I believe we're passing under the CTA's Orange Line, which is part of the famous elevated subway system, or L. The Orange Line is actually the most recent addition to the CTA network, having been completed in the 90s. I believe. And it is one of the ones that operates through the loop in downtown Chicago. Literally so named because there is a series of L tracks that make a loop right around what has become the kind of heart of the business and financial district in downtown Chicago. So that's where you'll find a lot of corporate offices for things, law offices, all that kind of fun stuff. Rolling along at a healthy 15 miles an hour. The ass end of our train isn't even off the connection yet, which is great. And we're also starting, and we have a phantom 10 mile an hour speed limit, which is fun. What? All right, that was interesting. I don't, Jessica. I never got around to downloading it, and now the internet's not happy. All right, let's try that again. So, anyway, that's the Carl Sandburg that was noted. This is BNSF Western Avenue Yard. Union Pacific's Global 1 is now is over there in the distance. Global 1 is actually recently closed so that Union Pacific could sell off the land. I really should download the Metro logo pack. I don't know why I haven't. Laziness, I guess. It would be so hard. Oh, I forgot this is a Foreman's Dan Hernandez locomotive. To be very careful. Don't want to scare it. If he worked as a bouncer, he'd be dormant. Oh god. Oh god, that's hilarious, Code Monkey. Bravo, bravo. Yes. I believe that's actually just an asset. Yeah, there's no rails or there's no track associated with it. Oh crap. What is it? Is it like throwing a switch under the train? I love it when it does this. And then I hate it when it does this. Uh, well, didn't expect I'd need to have freaking fallback positions. If he was at a food packing plant, he could be Foreman Canernantis. Oh god. Um. Well. I don't know. I think it's there's a switch flipping beneath the train because it just there's this it randomly drops to a 10-mile-an-hour speed limit, which isn't unmarked because you can see the speed limit symbol pop up like 2/3 of the way back along the train. So I'm and about I don't know 10 seconds before you derail, and I wonder if it's a switch glitching out and flipping under the train. That would be my best guess. Uh, well, crap. Yes, exactly. Some multi-track drifting. Always a good time. Uh, well, poop. That's a bummer. Also, because I don't have a fallback plan. Uh, let's see. Da, 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 da. Damn it! I tried to. Excuse me. I tried to hit the mute button. I didn't quite get there. Uh, spring burn. Yeah, I got that. I have a scenario for spring burn. Da, 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 da. I gotta find it again. Yeah. Oh wait, this is the career. Yeah. What is it? Yeah, that one with the weird Latin name that nobody played. And also I don't want to get into right now because that train's a pain to operate. But yeah, I've had Springburn for a minute. Oh, whoops, I wanted to go back to the career runs because I wanted to do see if we can find something to do. Um, so this is the North Wales coastline transfer for Wales. That is surprising, Code Monkey. I figured you'd be all over that. This was just released today. If you have the original Arriva Trains Wales Virgin Trains North Wales coastline before it got retired, you got this today in your library. And as someone who owned the original North Wales coastal route or North Wales coast, I got it. So literally, the route I believe the route is the same. It goes from Crewe to Holyhead. The difference is just uh, you have Arriva train or Avanti West Coast branding on the Class 221, and you have Transport for Wales branding on the Class 175 and 158. Don't want to do that one. Prestatin. I don't want to do one that's hard. Ah, fair enough. From Glendinno Junction to Holyhead. That's the bit I really want to drive, so. We'll just do this. Good morning, driver. Please open the passenger doors and get set to depart at 7:34. So, turn the cab light on, turn the instrument lights on, headlights are set. We have a green. Only need the F3 HUD. And I think we're at Glendinno Junction, right? Yes. I really do like the Transport for Wales livery. Although, I'm curious to see how the gray is going to weather. So I believe Backaway is over here. Yep. This is the line to Blaenau Festiniog. I'm sure I pronounced that correctly. I don't know. Oh, this is Glen Conway. Okay, next up is at Bangor. Come on. There you go. I guess I should have paid attention to the fact that this was in fog, but we'll still get a good idea of what this part of the route looks like. So we're going from Glendinno Junction to Holyhead, which means we'll be leaving the British mainland and hopping onto the Isle of Anglesey. Heading off to the right is the actual line to the town of Llandudno, passing through Deganwy. And actually, come to think of it, I might re-release the last part of 1D85 to use this route, since well, since you can't get this one now. Or, I mean, you can't. If you don't have the original North Wales Coast, you can't play it. So might be something I look into. I think it took me less than an hour to put that together. It's not like it's a difficult scenario. Passing through the Tubular Bridge here at I believe it's Conwy Castle. Or Castle Conwy. Oh, shit, I forgot this is a cruise scenario. My bid for perfection has been dashed. Oh, it's just, well, the station is Conwy. Said there was a key at Glendinno. Well, not really. So. Luckily, the route to Holyhead is, obviously pretty major. So they're not going to try and like. So most of the stations are pretty tame. It's not like in central Wales where like they're just impossible to pronounce to scare off the non-Welsh speakers. With a couple different exceptions. Including this one, which is not something I'm going to try and pronounce. Oh no, we're speeding again. And how? Well, I think there went gold. Man, it's like I should pay attention. But the nice bit about this route is that you really do run right along the coast. And mumbler mumbler. Yeah, pretty much. The one that's got pen in it and there's a quarry. Green distant. Gotta say, as far as scenery goes, the Northwest Coast definitely beats the South Coast, even if the South Coast has way more traffic. So here's the Penn station, and then the quarry bit is behind it. And we're speeding again. Kind of reminds me of Pennsylvania a bit. Minus the, big body of water. But with the kind of bridges that go in and out and sweeping all around, and the big cliff to the left. I guess the only difference is in Pennsylvania you have a big cliff to your right as well. Yeah, right up there along the coast. Nothing between us and the sea but a big old retaining wall. this is Clanfairfeckin. Ooh, that was it's a bit like that salt coats near air. Oh, okay. I could believe that. Got some speedy bits. Represent the sea, but it's west facing and gets battered by hard winds. There's close to the waves breaking over the wall onto the tracks. Ah! Dang it. Okay, so it's kind of like the South Sea coast at Dawlish in that way. Welcome, Craig Cameron. And it seems we have a dissenting opinion. But welcome to the stream, Craig. Man, I don't know why I'm so speed happy today. Acceleration on this thing really gets away from you. Clanfairfetchin? I don't know what C. No, CH has like that sounds. Should be Clanfairfechin. Gotta be careful how you say that. I'll get in trouble with YouTube and Twitch. Like I haven't already said shit like 3 times in this stream. Well, of course. God forbid we have choppy waters that reflect the weather. Yes. Did I miss one? I do know that, Craig. I guess I might have missed one. Trying to keep myself from speeding. It's also 80 missed. Did I just turn off the headlights? No. See, I can't even keep myself from speeding. Oh man. No, I guess it's not Lehigh Oil in Illinois anymore, but I'm not typing all that. Got a Morpeth board warning for the 15-mile-an-hour speed limit turnout on approach to Bangor Station. I assume that means we have a yellow signal at the actual home signal since the distant is green, but we still got an AWS ping. Thanks DTG for your, or an AWS alarm, not a ping. Thanks DTG for your wonderful signaling system. Yep, so we have a yellow with a feather. We're now also down to 15. So, I have to ask, because the people in Maine get really touchy when you pronounce their Bangor the wrong way. Because in Maine, the one in Maine is pronounced Bangor. So, is this one Bangor, or is it Banger, or is it somewhere in between? I'm curious. Where's the 5-car stop? Oh, there. There's the VT45. Excellent, Code Monkey. Excellent. Code Monkey bringing out the old banger. I hardly know her. Uh. All right. We are off to Bodorgan. I need a transplant. I have a Bodorgan. Ah. Yeah. Would recommend overall, Craig. I enjoy this route. I'm not affiliated with DTG, but I did own the original, with the Arriva Inversion liveries, and everyone who owned that got this today in their library. So. I thought about it, Jessica, and then I decided it wasn't worth it, so I'll just let people be confused. But now that someone said something, I feel obligated. So this is open bracket 221 close bracket 01 period at the crack of dawn. Yo, I'd love it if we had 221s in Chicagoland. Are you kidding? I just realized now I need a Metro branded Class 175. That's it. It's just done. And an Amtrak Class 221. That's it. You sealed it. There is no other choice. And also that Chicagoland is very rural and looks suspiciously like North Wales. Yes, imagine it, Code Monkey. Bathe in the horror. Actually, if it was done right, I think an Amtrak livery 221 could actually look quite nice. Did it? I don't know. I never owned the JT Voyager, so I couldn't tell you what liveries it came out with. Aside, obviously, from the cross country livery. So I believe we are now approaching the single track section for the Britannia Bridge. I'm waiting for Armstrong Powerhouse updates for this route and track work as well. Ooh, a double-decker TTV would look good in Phase 3. Ah, crap. I mean, that's your choice, Craig Cameron. I don't use any third-party editions when I play the game, which has its drawbacks, but that's just how I play the game. But you are more than welcome to play the game how you see fit. And although I will agree, I have thought about picking up the 3D tracks from Armstrong Powerhouse because those do look really good. So this is the Britannia Bridge. It is a double-decker bridge. A two-tone gray with blue on the front. But yeah, it's a double-decker bridge that carries the North Wales coastline and the... Hold on. Yeah, it's the North Wales Expressway, but is it numbered? Apparently it is not numbered. That's interesting. I've also seen the weather pack in action, and it does also look very good. So I mean, there's definitely advantages to getting Armstrong Powerhouse packs. So I certainly would never begrudge anyone for wanting to do that. Speed limit is back up to 75, and nope. Is that gonna open? Oh yeah, there it goes. That is also fair, Jessica. Phase 3 was just a good looking scheme. Is this Clanfair? Yeah, so this is the longest named station. Oh, it does have a sort of pronunciation guide. Let's see. Clan. I got that. Vire. Okay. Okay. Pool. Gwyngill. Go Ger U Queern. Drew Ul Clandis. Ilio. Go go go. Nailed it. And I will not face any sort of comparison to that one weather guy who pronounced it like flawlessly. Phase 4. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Oh, I 100% want to go to it just so I can get a picture of that stupid freaking sign and then say I've been there. But also, I'm pretty sure I'd need like a month just to like ride everything, because I 100% want to ride everything. And we're talking about like everything. I mean, going down to Penzance and then also like the far north line, all the way up to Thurso. Yeah. So 3 is yeah, is the toothpaste stripe. Code Monkey. Oh wait, because there's a couple. It should be the one where the red, white, and blue stripe are all the same size. Phase 2 had the thicker red and blue stripe, and then the very thin white stripe in the middle. If I had the DTM SDP40 SDP40F DLC handy, I would demonstrate. Ooh, we've entered semaphore territory. So in that 158 unique. I mean, I don't care if it's like hours and hours late. I'm just there to enjoy it and say I did it. I don't think we're gonna get silver now either. Yeah, I've thought about that because I'm sure that getting up there will definitely be the fun part because I wouldn't have been up there. But yeah, it's like a 8-hour round trip. I do eventually have to get back to Inverness, and then even then, it's still quite a ways to get back to like any kind of major population center. Because I think it's also like a 2-hour trip back to Aberdeen, and longer if you're trying to get to Edinburgh or Glasgow. And then I know it's a 2-hour trip between Plymouth and Penzance, so. Behind a bridge. What do you mean, Code Monkey? I figure the way to do it is you fly into Glasgow. And then you do um like, you can do like the West Highland line, out and back. With beams going up to double track the Aberdeen Inverness line. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. So yeah. So you take a day maybe to do like the um the West Highland line, and then you do Queen Street to Inverness up the Highland Main Line. Then you do the Far North line, which is like a day in itself. Then you do the Aberdeen Inverness line down to Aberdeen. Then you do uh Aberdeen to Penzance, which is like another day. And then I don't know what you do from there. Maybe back to Exeter to do the West of England line. And then I don't know. I would just spend so much time riding trains. I don't think I would ever actually like see any sights. We're now passing Bud Organ. Option is to do the West Highland upward, then bus it to either Inverness or Carlo Flacouch. Depends if you're trying to hit every line or get the flippers. Oh, I do like the sheep buzz. That's good. Ooh. You present interesting quandary there, Code Monkey. I hadn't thought of that. I like this is something I'm like going to do in the near future. But it's fun to dream. I'm gonna speed my way out of even a bronze here. I guess my only thing of that is I'm coming here to like ride trains, not buses. If I can't get there by rail, is it even worth getting there? Like, to get every line, you'd probably take over a week to cover only Scotland. Well, yeah, considering the Far North line is in itself a day. Didn't it take them like 4 or 5 years? Because, like, there's a surprising amount of stations on, like, the West Highland Line or the 4 North Line. For like, as much as like, or as rural as it is, and like, or how sparsely populated it is, there's a lot of stations. Like even the Fort William to Malig line, you've got, you know, Banavie, Korpak, uh, Lochiel, Outward Bound, Lochiel side, um, Loch Allert, I think, was it Roy Bridge, Arizag, Glenfinnan, and there's some I'm forgetting, but at least I remembered all the ones you need that are signal points with the RETV. Um, Also, I finally picked up the West Highland line extension route, and it is so cool the way they managed to model RETV with um, the pre-recorded radio communications. Just remember to stop at Nellick. Well, you're gonna stop at Malig one way or the other, so it's just all about where you stop. Same with Fort William. More stations along this part. Either way, you'll stop and you'll be try or not. I mean, yeah, those are your options. Portsmouth is one of those too. We're now passing the Valley Nuclear Sidings and Valley Station. Oh, okay. I thought for some reason the wall made it look like we were like below sea level. And I thought, well, there's a questionable choice. Oh, I forgot there's a. That's cool. Oh boy. Thanks, Whitaker. Welcome to the stream, and thank you for the follow. Uh, I'll be honest though, this was not one of the best. Oh well. Almost. Almost over now. Is that the? That's the Morpeth board for the upcoming 15 as we come here into Holyhead. I'm at least gonna get a bronze. I mean, if that's what the people want. Come on. Just made it. Live right near a railway line, and I love it on the junior dome. I can see the chimes from the bedroom balcony. Oh, that is pretty sweet, Whitaker. That is sweet. What? Ah! Someone disadvantaged of the cab out view. Surprised we're not getting dinged points for that. Oh, I'm in E. That's why. Wasn't paying attention. And in the F3 HUD, all you get is a little square right there next to the emergency brake. I just tell her they're going too fast for anyone to get a good look. I love how some railway engineer was like, yeah, let's put a 1 in 75 downhill grade on the entrance to our terminus station. That'll end real well. Alright, we're just gonna phase through a bunch of station buildings. They do love doing that, Code Monkey. There's quite a few that do that. I think actually King's Cross does that. Um, I know Washington Union Station does that. I don't think actually Chicago Union Station does that. So go Illinois. Oh wow, that is close then. But yeah. I don't back right up to a line, but I do live pretty close to one. And when I first moved out here for school, I live in Southwest Michigan, in the United States. Um, when I first moved out here for school, anytime the trains came through, which isn't too frequent. I live on the in a city along the Amtrak Michigan line, um, which goes between Chicago and Detroit. Um, I used to notice it every time when a train came through, and now I only notice it every once in a while. Well done, nice run. Have a break before your return journey. So that was '01 at the crack of dawn, done by DTG for the recently re-released, as in today, North Wales Coastline Transport for Wales version. Lovely little route. Scenario was decent. It's a stock scenario that comes with a route. I don't expect too much. So that'll do it for this week. Thanks everyone for watching. I know this one was a little rough around the edges, but aside from this scenario, pretty much everything you see on here can be found on Steam Workshop. Uh, uh, Link to that is on the in the on the homepage on Twitch. There you'll also find the links to the Facebook, which I use sometimes, and then the YouTube channel, and all the relevant links will also be in the description of this VOD on YouTube when that gets uploaded. I know I'm behind. I think I'm behind 4 streams now. I'm going to work on that tomorrow. Going to do like a quadruple upload, and just decimate the bandwidth in my house. So, trains are back again next week on the 28th, and I think that'll do it. So, thanks again, everyone, for watching. Hopefully, next week will be better. But until then, I will see you all next time. Bye.